20 July 2020, and today I want to briefly talk about Hopewell Chin'ono, who was arrested this morning, and he live streamed himself on Facebook getting arrested. So the question that I want to answer today, and this is my opinion, is to say, is Hopewell Chin'ono part of ZANU PF Faction fighting? And I'm bringing this up because there's a number of speculations about whether Hopewell Chin'ono is working for one faction of ZANU PF or another. In fact, about 2 weeks back, he had an interview with Trevor Ncube, and he answered that question. He said people are saying he works for the General Chiwenga faction, but he is not. And the question arose because he had revealed a number of fraudulent transactions or corrupt transactions that involved members of the Mnangagwa family. Specifically, he was very hard on the sons of Mnangagwa. He was also very hard on the former Minister of Health, Obadiah Moyo. And people were asking, why are you guys revealing this 1,060,000 and leaving the 3 billion or so every year that is stolen by Command Agriculture? So when that question arose, obviously he had to respond, and his response was that he's not in the Chiwenga faction and he's not doing this against the Mnangagwa family. So I want to go and give you guys my understanding and also my opinions of where Hopewell is. And I want to give you some historical background on the factions in ZANU PF. Specifically, I think there are 3 factions in ZANU PF, which is the Mnangagwa faction, the Chiwenga faction, and then a faction that I call the Outsiders. So since I have spoken so much about the Mnangagwa and the Chiwenga factions, today I want to reveal to you the Outsiders, which is the Outsiders faction and why it is linked to what is happening now. So before the coup in 2017, Mnangagwa was very, very strategic. He started to recruit people with platforms, prominent Zimbabweans, people that were known in his fight against Grace Mugabe. So what he would do is he would recruit someone popular, and that person would also start attacking Grace. And that person would know that, well, I'm protected, Grace is not going to do anything to me. And Grace was openly attacking Mnangagwa, and a whole bunch of people were posting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, attacking Mnangagwa. So I can give you up to 10 names, and I think let's do it. Let's go for example, Nkosana Moyo, Noah Manyika, Trevor Ncube, Shingi Muneza, Eric Knight, Ezra Chisasvanda, Sten Zorwadza, Esi Lumumba, Kudamsa Siwa, Lloyd Msipa, Tabani Mpofu. All these people, they were going after Grace Mugabe. And as we know now, Pastor Ivan and Advocate Mahere, these people would every day be going after Grace Mugabe in support of Idi Mnangagwa. So that was before the coup. And in fact, on the week of the coup, people like Esi Lumumba and Kudamsa Siwa were actively organizing buses, mobilizing youths who were coming from this flag to go and march in the street. I can say half of those people who marched that day, they were somehow linked to the call by people like Kudamsa Siwa, Esi Lumumba, and the other people who were linked to this flag. And so the coup came and went. Mugabe was removed, and Mnangagwa went into power. When Mnangagwa went into power, he immediately forgot everybody. In fact, among all the people that I've mentioned, that list, which has got almost 10 people or more, very few of these people got any kind of recognition. In fact, most of them right now, they don't have any benefits from supporting Idi Mnangagwa. I'm sure people like Eric Knight and Ezra Chisasvanda, Maybe they got 1 or 2 deals here or there, but mostly nothing, no benefit for these prominent people who supported Idi Mnangagwa. The logic is that many people thought Mnangagwa would bring about reforms, make a change to Zimbabwe against the bad damage that Mugabe had brought to Zimbabwe. But before the elections in 2018, it became clear that the situation was not changing in Zimbabwe. In fact, the situation was worsening. So, leading up to the elections, the outsiders, because they supported Mnangagwa, these prominent people, they didn't want to openly oppose him. So they started to keep quiet and pull back. But people like myself, we made a decision, and it was a conscious decision to support Nelson Chamisa's candidature. So if you remember, leading up to the elections in 2018, I was supporting Nelson Chamisa openly and actively. And most of the people that I have given you in this list, they were saying, Nelson Chamisa lacks experience. Let's give Mnangagwa a chance. So that is people like Trevor Ngube, people like Steno Zorowadza. They did not openly campaign for Nelson Chamisa. In fact, some of them were quiet. If you look at people like S. Lumumba, they did not openly campaign for Chamisa. They became reserved because the situation was showing that the economy in Zimbabwe was not going to improve. However, because the British government still supported Idi Mnangagwa, and the British embassy in Zimbabwe specifically were supporting Idi Mnangagwa, it was easy for most of the people to support Mnangagwa and do so with the support of the British embassy in Zimbabwe. And this is where people like Hopewell Chin'ono come in. Chin'ono studied his journalism or filmmaking in the UK. So he was very close to the people there at the British embassy in Zimbabwe. And so he was able to move between Mnangagwa's people and people at the British embassy in Zimbabwe. And he said this himself in that interview with Trevor Ngube. So the elections came, and to top it up, Hopewell Chin'ono was actually photographed with Priscilla Chigumba just before the elections, at the time when we were questioning the voters' roll. I remember myself and the guys at Team Pachedu were questioning the voters' roll and the accuracy of that voters' roll. At that time, these guys were supporting Idi Mnangagwa. They did not see anything wrong with the voters' roll. They did not speak up when every day we made videos about how bad the voters' roll in Zimbabwe was. And Christopher Mchangwa traveled, I think, to Russia with Priscilla Chigumba, so these two are friends to Hopewell Chin'ono. The Mchangwa family and Chigumba are friends of Hopewell Chin'ono. So he was close to the ZANU PF people, but I do not consider him to have been in either faction at that time. Then after the election, there was that shooting on 1 August. And we made videos about it. We shouted about it. We went on the 16th January shooting. We shouted about it. We made noise about it. These guys were not making a lot of noise about this kind of events back in 2018. In fact, the arguments I had, because the media was so polarized, and I was supporting Chamisa and these guys were supporting Idi Mnangagwa, the arguments became so polarized that Hopewell Chin'ono blocked me on Twitter. Up to this day, I'm blocked by Hopewell Chin'ono because of my open support for Nelson Chamisa at that time. So the point I'm trying to make is that there were a lot of people that honestly supported Idi Mnangagwa, but were disappointed after the elections. Then we have this third faction now in ZANU PF that is saying, Idi Mnangagwa, you disappointed us. We put all our faith in you. And they are then being used by the different factions. So if you look at someone like Trevor Ngube, he's not very vocal on the corruption issue. He's got a number of newspapers. He could easily have published all that information that he got about drugs. He's not very vocal about command agriculture. Here and there, he's going to publish about the military. He's going to publish about... So they choose which side they want to publish. So we now have a third faction, which is made up of people who were supporting Idi Mnangagwa leading up to the 2018 elections, but who are totally disappointed. And in my view, what is happening to Hopewell Chin'ono now is an attempt by one faction to make the Mnangagwa faction look bad. So obviously, the General Chiwenga faction has calculated and seen that if they can have a head-on collision in the same week, an arrest of a journalist, arrest of the 31st July protesters, then this will make the Mnangagwa faction look bad. And if you look at that tweet that was sent out by David Coltart, it says as much. There is 3 factions now in ZANU PF. These guys are not going to come out and say, we're not going to go to the opposition. They're going to stick around and hang around in ZANU PF as a third faction, waiting to see where things go. And then we're basically seeing the future group of beneficiaries of change in ZANU PF. So if General Chiwenga was to take over now, I wouldn't be surprised if all the people that I have listed here that were supporting Idi Mnangagwa leading up to the coup, suddenly you find them in government. The same way you found people like Nick Mangwana, Tinomdaishe Chinyoka, these guys who benefited from supporting Idi Mnangagwa leading up to the coup. You probably see these guys also, who I call now the outsiders, benefiting. Right, I want to keep this short for our WhatsApp audience. It's very sad to see a journalist being arrested, but I can tell you that I know the impact of the attack on the media by ZANU PF. Our YouTube channel has been closed 3 times and I've had to start from scratch. My Facebook page was closed in early 2019 for a month. We could not access it. And I was almost lured to Dubai for whatever reason, I don't know. But all this time, people were silent. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of problems in Zimbabwe in terms of the media, but there's also a lot of underlying issues. And I think tomorrow I want to get a guest and we'll talk more about what is happening to Hopewell Chin'ono, and maybe probably I'll tell you more about the background of Hopewell Chin'ono as we go. And then I'll also keep you updated on what happens to his court case. But for now, this is what I wanted to say. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, and share.